We've got Chanel Robe. She is going to be coming up to the stage. Welcome, Chanel. You are muted, girl, muted.
Hello, Melissa. How are you
Welcome.
doing? Thank you for
I am
having me.
splendid. It's Friday.
Oh yes, this is like my only call for the day. So I'm like, okay, let's do this, and then I'm
Yes,
off for
yes,
the weekend.
yes. Let's do it. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, so we are going to hand the stage over to you. Thank you, Chanel. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you to Haley for having me today. My name is Chanel Robe, and I help coaches to transform their program delivery so that they're able to get high client success rates while having the time to enjoy their lives to the fullest. Now, I've done this for a couple years, save people billions of hours, but it's not about me today. It's about me having a conversation with you, right? And so I wanted to actually start our conversation together by asking you a question. Do you operate your business as a country club or as a public park? And I would love to know if you have time to just drop it in the chat and let me know which one do you think you're operating your business as an exclusive country club or a public city park. And you may be wondering to yourself, Chanel, why would you ask such a weird question? That's a weird question to ask. What do you even mean by that? And the thing that I'll say to you is that the answer, Tim says she's already mind blown. The answer that you give to that question and the reality of your situation in your business is actually the secret to how you'll either have a business and clients that are overwhelming and stressing you out, not getting results, and you're not having the time to enjoy your life to the fullest, or B, you have thriving clients, a thriving business, plus you have time to enjoy the life that you have built, right? And ooh, somebody said I dropped a bomb. Now, the thing about it is that it's something for you to think about. But before you actually, while you're thinking about it, I want to actually share a story with you, right? And I don't know about you, but one of the things I loved growing up is Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And I don't know anybody who loves Fresh Prince, but I don't like the version that they did recently. I love the version with Will Smith in there. Uncle Phil, that was my thing. That was the thing that I just watched for fun. And the thing about it is that this Fresh Prince of Bel Air sitcom is actually a prime example of living life and running a business as a country club versus running a business as a city park, right? Now, let's talk about it. If you remember when Will first comes to Bel Air, Will is from West Philadelphia, a whole different sort of culture. And he comes to Bel Air, which is like a whole different sort of culture. It's for high society people. And so when Will lands at Uncle Phil's and Aunt Vivian's house, it is no shock whatsoever that Will ends up in a situation where he's just not used to it, and therefore his behavioral patterns and everything relating to that is really, really out of this world, to the point where it frustrates his uncle, shocks his cousins, and his aunt keep having to beg his uncle, hey, have some patience with him, right? And some of the key examples that I actually remember from that first episode is when Will literally comes and knock at the door, and he's literally started to play like a little rhythm on the door while he's waiting for Jeffrey to come in, and Jeffrey is like, obviously this man is crazy, right? And then there's another point where he meets Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian for the first time. And it's like a whole situation where Will is using all of these slangs, and Uncle Phil is like, what did you say? What did you say? And Will is trying to explain himself to say that, hey, I don't mean anything bad by it. Here's what I actually mean. And then the final situation was when Will enters. Uncle Phil is hosting a dinner party for his partners and his high society neighbors, and Will just come down and just behave totally weird, to the fact where Uncle Phil is so frustrated, and he's trying his best as possible to get Will to conform to what how high society would behave and how his friends would expect, etc., because it's embarrassing. And I don't know for you, I think about sitting in Uncle Phil's shoes and I think to myself, gosh, I would be a bit embarrassed too, and it would be frustrating and stressful and overwhelming for me to have to deal with somebody like that constantly. Now, to go back to the question that I started with in terms of, are you operating your business as a country club or as a regular city park? I'll ask you another question. Are you enrolling the clients that you're choosing to work with? Are they Wills of the world or Carltons of the world? And what do I mean by that? Are they people who are prepared and equipped to work with you and get results? Or, which is a Carlton, because they're used to the country club lifestyle? Or are they the Wills of the world who is literally stepping into a totally new situation that they're in no way, shape, or form prepared for? And the thing about it, I'm sure when I asked the question at the start, if you are a country club or if your business is operating as a country club or your business is operating as a city park, your initial thing was to say, yeah, Chanel, of course my business is operating as a country club, because who wouldn't want it? A country club is exclusive. It has all the niceness things going on. It's tuned to certain clans and etc. It's something that everybody aspire for. But the truth of it, the reality is it that many of us are not operating our business in that way, shape, or form. We open up our businesses to everybody, to every single client that comes our way, as long as they solve the pain point, as long as they have the pain points that we solve and they have a credit card that can actually pay our fees, right? And the funny thing about it is, because we're accepting city park clients like Wills all the time, even though they're not prepared to work with us, we end up like Uncle Phil as business owners. And the evidence of that you see in your business is you having meetings with your clients, and those meetings running very long, because you're always trying to firefight some issue that has come up, something that your client didn't tell you about and you learn about, and now you're running and scrambling trying to fix things, right? Or you're trying to get your clients to do the work, because even though you have presented to them every single thing that you think that they would need to succeed, they aren't doing the work, and you're frustrated and trying to figure out what is it that you need to change to get that to happen, right? Or it could be a case where they disengage and you're trying to figure out how in the world do you actually get them to show up for calls, how in the world do you actually get them to just do what they have committed, and they're paying you to help them to get done, right? And then of course you may have clients who have churned, who have just decided that, you know what, this thing is too much for me, I'm gonna go off and go and just drop out. Hasta la vista to you, right? And that's how the Wills city park clans who aren't, and clans who you put into your country club, who are actually city park clans, behave, right? And the thing about it is, not only does that affect your client results, which in turn affect your retention rates, which in turn affects the referrals that you will get, which in turn affects the people that you will actually who they'll actually recommend to you. It also affects you, because you're so busy behaving like a Phil, you don't get to enjoy the life that you have worked so hard to create, right? You look at, if you think about it, in the situation with Uncle Phil, in that dinner situation, Uncle Phil was so busy trying to keep Will on track and keep Will doing what he needs to do and getting Will to behave normally, that Uncle Phil missed out on the opportunity to spend time with his family. He missed out on the opportunity to spend time with his friends. He missed out on the opportunity to just relax and engage what he has worked so hard for. And that's what happens to us as business owners, right? I work with coaches, but as business owners in general, when we are so focused on working with the wills of the world when we're meant to work with Carltons who will get results in our program without us having to jump over every single hurdle you can ever think of, etc. Right? You don't have time for yourself. You go off on vacation and you don't even get a chance to relax on your vacation because you're thinking about business and you're thinking about that one client who just won't do what they need to do, right? You don't get time to spend time. You don't get to spend time with your family, etc., etc. And that's no way to live. You've worked hard to get where you are, and you deserve to not only see your serve clients and get results, but also to enjoy life, right? And so you may be wondering to yourself, Chanel, I realize I desire to have a country club. I desire to operate my business as a country club, but I'm currently operating at a city park where I have too many wills when I should actually be looking at enrolling Carltons. What can I do to actually turn this entire situation around? And I will say to you, there are two things. It's two things I know I tell all my clients, and that's two things I work with my clients around getting done. The first step is actually knowing what it takes for your clients to succeed with your service, to get results from your service or get results from your program. And what do I mean by that? It goes beyond knowing that a client has a certain mindset. It goes beyond knowing that a client is committed. It goes beyond just knowing that a client has the pain point that you solve. It goes beyond the client just being able to pay you. It goes into knowing, does the client have the ability to do the work that you know that you'll have to do in your program, right? It doesn't make sense for you to your program or your service to target a seasoned business owner to get certain things, getting systems, etc. And you're targeting or you're choosing the wills of that world, which would be the beginner, the business owners who are just beginning. They are at different stage in their journeys and will need different things from you, different things that they'll have to bring to the table in order to succeed, right? And so one of the first things you need to look at is their ability. Do they have the capability to succeed? Do they have the resources on hand to actually succeed, thrive, and get results from the service that you're offering to them? Or is it going to be a matter of because they're so unprepared and you enroll them anyway and then you decide to serve them, and then because you're so committed to your word and you're so focused on helping your clients to get results, you're going to end up having to overwork and overextend to actually get them to where you need to get to. So that's the first step, is actually ensuring that you know what it takes for your clients to succeed in your service, with your service, or in your program. The second step, this is the final step, is to then once you have defined what you need to do, what that criteria is for your best fit client, you then look at where you can actually incorporate that information, those criterion into your marketing, into when you're screening your clients at enrollments, because not every client who comes to you, no matter how much, as we said, not because they can pay you mean that they're a good fit for you, right? So you'll have to screen them at enrollment, and therefore you get a chance to also set expectations around what it will actually take, and you're able to vet them to see that they can actually keep up, right? And so that is how, with those two things in place, you'll actually get clients into your program who are prepared, clients into your program or in your service, whatever service that you offer, who are prepared and equipped to work with you. They're fabulous Carltons, prepared for your country club experience in your business. And not only are they prepared, but they will actually get the results that you set out to help them to get. And you will benefit from all of that because now you get back the time to enjoy the life that you have created for yourself. So I think my thing for you in terms of ending, I'll say, what is one thing that you'll actually take away from this? Where are you in reality? I know we started, it was like, hey, are you operating as a country club or are you operating as a city park, right? And we know that answer normally comes from the fact that, hey, that's where we'd want to be. In listening to me and engaging with me today and thinking about it, where would you say you fall today? Are you operating as a country club who's just allowing everybody in? Are you operating as a country club that's behaving like a city park? And based on you knowing where you are, somebody said it took them a long time to get to your car. And I'm excited for you that you're finding your Carltons and that you're working with your Carltons, because that means you're working with people who get results without you having to overwork and without you having to sacrifice the other areas of your life that are equally important, if not more important, right? And I mean, if you find that you're behaving in the opposite, where you are still working with a lot of wills, take those steps today. Take those steps today and start becoming very intentional about enrolling Carltons, because those are the ones who will get the results, and they're also the ones who will actually allow you to reclaim the time to show up in the other areas of your life, right? And so that is it from me today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to Moa and engage with Moa. And if you're interested in contacting me, you can actually reach out to me on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. I wouldn't say I'm always on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook, right? Chanel Robe. That's my name there. Or you can actually go to my website, therobeway.com. And on that note, that is it from me today. Have a great, great day. And Melissa and Haley, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for you. I literally was sitting here mind blown. I'm like, ooh, that is such a great way to put it. Country club or private park. And how many entrepreneurs stay in the private park for too long because they don't have their own mindset right. So you just hit the
Yes.
nail right on the head. So, and then you said to screen them at enrollment, and that is brilliant. You know, you should have a disqualification process for clients because not
Exactly.
everyone is ready to work with you. So
Exactly.
I look at the I call it the whoa. It's the W, you know, who are they? And are you specific
Mm-hmm.
enough in your niche, right? Are you drilling down enough so you know exactly who they are? Are they hungry enough to take action? Because, like you said, if they fail, it makes you look bad. And why would we want to fill our country club with a bunch of people that are going to leave litter on the golf fields or the golf greens,
Exactly.
right?
Or can't even play the golf.
So, right.
Can't use
They
the
need to be
facilities.
they need to be obsessed with the result. They need to have that
Exactly.
solution that you have. And if they're obsessed, they're going to want to work with you, and they need to be affluent enough to afford your offer. Not everyone can join the country club, and there's a reason for that because there's levels to it. And I know
Exactly.
that people get, when they're dealing with a bunch of wills, it's easy to get discouraged, but
Mm-hmm.
just know you'll eventually get to your Carltons, right? You just got to work with Chanel. Chanel, can you please put a link for them to reach out to you in the chat? It would be great to make it easy for them to find you on Facebook and your website.
I
That would be
most
wonderful.
definitely will. And I mean, even we're almost at the time. I'll just say that even in terms of what you said before, it's also very, very important as well that you're actually constant what it actually takes to get those results, right? Because a lot of times you'll find the people who are ready and committed, but if they don't have what it takes in terms of the resources or the abilities and the capabilities to thrive, then you're just taking in people who are going to be doing the work. And we hear that a lot. Business owners say clients are doing the work, but they're not getting the results and so forth, which is another thing in that respect as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. This was a great eye opener, I bet, for a lot of people that are watching. So